Yo, check this out. This is Wayne Wonder, representing for Warwick LTV. You see the vision, don't it? See the vision. Warwick LTV. Keep it locked.
No, I'm gonna tell you. We, us, as bloggers, these are the issues that we need to address. You understand what I said? You see? Set the bar for the youth. Share, like, and subscribe, and stay tuned to the channel. I don't know all this. Yes, brothers and sisters, greetings once again in the mighty name of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Selassie the First. And once again, you see, welcome all viewers and subscribers. Viewers, if you like the content, subscribe and make it help grow the platform. You see, and you know, may I take the time to say thanks for tolerating me and my stupidity with my question that we ask and the lessons that we learn along the way from each other. You see, I've learned a lot, and I'm really in appreciation of that. You see, and I give thanks. You see. So, there is a story in the media, particularly the Jamaican Observer, where I try to find as we speak right now. You know, so I think I have it prepared already before I start the video, but I didn't. It was another rookie mistake. You see, but again, it seems like it's not a frontline feature, cause I see it on the front page them, yeah. So I don't know why, you know, but yeah, whatever. Anyway, we are talking about the Maroons. Them, we give thanks for the gesture from the Maroon spiritual leader. I try to find her in a bit and find her name and thing like that. I read that article to the item scene, because there was an extension of an apology to the Jamaican people and the culture at large for the role and the contribution of the Maroon, our own same people, them, in the facilitation and the maintenance of slavery in Jamaica. It was an history that we all turned a blind eye to. For the most part, but in a recent time, some things that go on where a particular member of the Maroon community came out and was demanding some level of compensation for their contribution to the struggle of, you know, where them go on with. And overall, we didn't know so really. That was really, it was a crime anyway. Seeing, this is interesting. Seeing, we know it was a crime anyway, and it needed more compassion. It needed compassion overall than anything else. You understand? And then for have one of us, who we consider to be one of us, you know, come on media and a demand some level. It never sit well with the rest of us, you know, cause yeah, I just saw the thing go. But in a recent time, we see the Empress, you know, come out and make a speech. I'm gonna read the story so that the item can grasp what really go on. What go on in the news, and then we dig in it some more. See? So from the Jamaica Observer, it took almost 3 centuries, but on Good Friday 2022, the Maroons of Jamaica apologized for their sordid role in crushing popular anti-slave uprisings and forcibly returning runaway slaves to hellish conditions on British-owned sugar plantations, sullying their stories, their storied history. Remember, me have a weak chest here, so coughing good at popping here and there. No one there. Bear with me on that one there, because I don't know. We're there. You see, yeah. Two of the more well-known black rebellions put down by the British colonial forces with the solid support of the Maroons were then led by West African slave chief Taki of St. Mary in 1760 and Baptist Deacon Paul Bogle of Stony Guts, St. Thomas in 1865. Now, at the end of this, I'm going to elaborate some more, hopefully, on the fact that we inspired the first black republic in the West, which was Haiti. You see, we instigated and facilitated and, yeah, that. So, yeah, some more about that. Bogle and his key ally, George William Gordon, were hanged but later named national heroes of Jamaica. And just 2 Fridays ago, April 8th, was officially declared Chief Taki Day, enforced to celebrate the freedom fighter credit with the first slave uprising in the Caribbean. You see, so the vision where the Maroon them did have particularly a compound Maroon them, where they would have be venerated today in the farm of how Chief Taki is being celebrated, you know, was wrong way of thinking back then. See, and we didn't know that from a long time. So we don't know some guy, Chief Curry and them guy they come from now, because Curry with a name. Oh yeah, well, alright, yeah. We get the hurt and suffering caused from such actions. We take total responsibility on behalf of our ancestors, said Paramount Chieftainess and Queen of the Maroon, Gamma and Gloria, Mama G. Sims. The woman now occupying the seat once held by Queen Nanny of the Maroons, the only female among the 7 national heroes. Still, you know, from my full standing of the history of things, Nanny them wasn't much of a player, a role player in that agenda. You know, see, don't think Nanny them did too much of a Nanny never too fancy taking back slaves. You see, because she did walk from that agreement, that treaty, original treaty. Hence the reason why Scotsall, Maroons never get any recognition until long after. You see, I mean, no agreement, no treaty. You know, no like the land where a compound Maroon did have around Chilani Town and the whole of them there that was given to them by the British. Scotsall Maroon never have that. In a recent time them get that. So it's kind of ironic how Nanny Town is the one now is the first person who's even taking just on the simple basis that she's a recognized Maroon as well. Yeah, you know. On behalf of the whole group, on behalf of the name Maroon, she's apologizing. Richard Curry, if it going up, you see, your friend them tell you say nearly 200 billion oil under Jamaica, and you know say if you get your little piece of Jamaica, you can claim say you want dig. Then again, the guy them good and know say with them seismograph and seismometer, you'll find out say islander up there, sir. A compound. And you want to do what you want to do now and you are one little dirty boy. I not stop, sir. You know, see, you have to apologize to me. I'm not take back them thought the night because before you apologize, it was a dirty boy. After you apologize, at them time, you know, you can try to wash you off and see, because the education we have, you should try help out all the way as Jamaican. Come now, you try to divide Jamaica in a little group over there to yourself. You know, subliminal cowardice. You know, see it. We realize that we cannot undo the past, but we can remedy the situation through reconciliatory actions that will repair the damage and rebuild trust so that these behaviors will not be repeated, said the Maroon spiritual leader in a press statement. The Maroon Queen, a tireless campaigner for the rights of indigenous people, used the platform of the Jamaica Observer to express the long-awaited mea culpa days before she journeyed to the United Nations to represent diaspora and Jamaican indigenous people, Maroons and other African retention communities and the Taino tribe at the Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues. Founder of the Maroon Indigenous Women's Circle, she will be part of a delegation which includes representatives from Trinidad and Tobago, Belize, Dominica, Suriname, Sierra Leone, and Jamaica, made up of professors, human rights lawyers, and academics from international universities. The archives of the National Library of Jamaica describe the Maroons as enslaved Africans and people of African descent who ran away from their masters or owners in search of freedom, dating back to 1655. At that time, the Tainos and Africans who were freed by the Spanish occupiers took to remote parts of the island for refuge from the English invasion of that year to establish their own settlement. Now, let me make this clear. We never set free by Spanish, We take the opportunity. When them are right, them is they are go with it like we are idiot. When we say we have the English, we go war them. Because the English prepare for come war. We just run and never help when we fight the English them. Some guys stay and try help or try whatever. But we just cut left on them. Never really take no free or go no, never give no freedom because we never did all do it. Never did all do that. And you see, all with that. Put piece of writing there so. It's diminishing Spanish responsibility. You see. Yes, we ran away back in 1655. Yeah. They became a formidable force that significantly challenged the system of enslavement imposed by the English. But recognizing that the Maroon were a thorn in the flesh that defied their superior forces, the British offered them a treaty with a certain amount of autonomy, but cunningly included agreements to help the British force take down slave uprising and return escaped slaves to the plantations. But neither the British nor the Maroons had said sorry for their actions against the slaves until now. The timing of Queen Gloria's heartfelt apology on behalf of the Maroons appeared to have been prompted by the declaration of Chief Tacky Day, in a commemoration signed by the Governor General at the behest of Cultural Minister Olivia Babsy Grange. A Jamaican group led by Derek Prince, Black X Robinson, that has now gone international, has been advocating that Chief Tacky be made a national hero, and commemoration is being regarded as a step nearer to the ultimate Jamaican honor. A Maroon paramount chieftain who said, "We must continue to honor the sacrifice and bravery of those who fought," embraced the Tacky Day Declaration as truly befitting in this time. It is time for us to bring the spirit of Sankofa to bear, to go back and fetch what is left behind to restore. It is time to repair and heal. Therefore, as spiritual leaders of the Maroons, I declare April 8th annually as National Reconciliation and Truth Day in recognition of all atrocities done in history that involved Maroons. And as our leaders would say, when trouble take you, picnic shot fit you. Exactly 262 years ago this month, Chief Tacky began his short-lived rebellion in St. Mary that was brutally put down by the British with the support of the Maroons, but not before catapulting him into a history of those who fought to make Jamaica independent and inspiring the Haitian Revolution that gave the world its first Black Republic. We'll see where that come from. Yeah. Make that sink in. Little. On Easter Monday, April 7, 1760, Chief Taki and his follower launched a fierce but bloody uprising that claimed the lives of white masters and overseers on the frontier plantation and culminated in the capture of Port Maria, the parish capital, from British colonial forces. Ironically, the rebels were inspired by the first Maroon War that also occurred in Jamaica from 1728 to 1740, led by Queen Nanny of the Maroons. However, the successor of the Maroon War and the signing of their peace treaty with the British eventually helped bring about the downfall of Taki's rebellion. In a statement to the Sunday Observer, the Maroon Queen appeared to suggest that the British should also be held accountable, arguing that in their struggle for peaceful freedom, the Maroons signed an agreement with the British to suppress rebellion and return escapees from slavery, among other terms set out in the Treaty of 1739. This aspect of our history have left behind lingering wounds that must be, listen lady, sorry, not to adjust it like that. But when you say, we don't want them argument, we pass that, we go past that. When you go say the British should be take responsibility, we know that. We are them to take all of the responsibility. You know, as, set the precedents. See, but you know wrong from right. The people in back then, them never did have to can read or write written under the sheet if you know wrong from right. Them know wrong from right, them know what they were doing was wrong. You see it. If them couldn't read or write under the treaty when the white master them start to instruct them, say this is what the expectation is, they could have refused. Anyway, the treaty is just a piece of paper. The war could have continued. Anyway, we're not going at that. We're not debate upon that. We just know say accountability is accountability in every sense of the word when we're going to talk about accountability. You see it. And part of the accountability process should have Chief Richard Curry sign the apology as well, because at the end of the day, him and the one who come out will resurrect this whole thing. See? Yeah. So aspect of our history is left linger, and it's Maroons signed an agreement with the British to suppress rebellion and return. This aspect of our history has left behind lingering wounds that must be addressed through a truth and reconciliation process. This Chief Taki declaration comes from the Governor General, whose role is to represent the same ruling power that wrote the Maroon Treaty, with clauses that demand them to suppress rebellions and capture the escaped enslaved. This was a conflict of interest and remained a hurtful scar on our history. Let us, as liberators and freedom fighters, take responsibilities for what our ancestors have done. Let us move to heal the rift. Gamang Sim urged. The rift has already been ruled. There was no rift among us in the Gamang Sim. No, Queen. We never have no rift, man. I must mad love and respect and admiration all the way. But it's when people come back up with this new story the other day about them want this because them to do that. And that's the insult coming. We know the history, But enough love and strength and positive energy your way. With all of your pursuance. Nanny there same way. Yes, She said that in observing the history of the past, it was also important to recognize the present state of crime and violence in Jamaica, in the homes, schools, communities, as well as the violence being done to the status of Maroons in Jamaica today, using this historical memory to set examples that will benefit all. The impact and result after many years of war have always left destruction, suffering, desolation, and isolation. Wars and conflict leave diverse scars. Spiritual, psychological, and physical scars are primary damage from wars. And these cause affect and touch every living thing in the environment, either directly or indirectly. Honor and recognition are emblematic of courage and bravery. We must continue to honor the sacrifice and bravery of those who fought, she said. The Maroons divided into two groupings, the Windward and the Leeward Maroons, maintained vibrant communities such as Chilani Town in St. James, Accompong in St. Elizabeth, Mooretown and Charlestown in Portland, Nanny Town in St. Thomas and Scottsall in St. Mary. The Accompong Maroons, led by the controversial Chief Curry, have been plagued with leadership conflict starting last year. Yeah, because him full of too much inflammation. Him depend on mission. You know, see it. So we give thanks once again for the chieftain, you know, the queen. You know, see it. Try to find her name. And sure, Corey. Yeah, but we give thanks to the chief and things like that. And big up that Taki and Taki Day. You see it. Yes, I. Rastafari.